Let me ask you something, and don't answer out loud. What if the reason you haven't become who you know you could be isn't lack of talent, isn't lack of time, isn't lack of opportunity, but lack of hard work at the level your dream demands? Because here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear. Hard work doesn't give you some things. Hard work gives you everything, not excuses, not comfort, not guarantees, everything. Dreams are expensive, not emotionally, spiritually. They demand something most people are unwilling to give: relentless, uncomfortable, uncompromising effort. Hard work is the price of entry, and the cost is due up front. Not after you feel ready, not after someone notices you, not after the fear fades. You don't get to stand at the door of greatness and negotiate the fee. You either pay it in sweat, discipline, and sacrifice, or you walk away with excuses. The world doesn't reward intention, it rewards execution. You can believe in yourself all day long, but belief without work is fantasy. Hope without effort is noise. Hard work is what turns imagination into reality. It's what separates the people who admire success from the people who live it. And if you're waiting for the road to get easier before you start walking, understand this clearly. The road never gets easier. You just get stronger by working harder. Hard work doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't care about your background, your connections, or your comfort level. It only asks one question: how bad do you want this? Because wanting something casually and wanting it desperately are two very different things. Casual desire quits when it's inconvenient. Desperate desire shows up when it hurts. The entry fee isn't paid in motivation, it's paid in discipline. Motivation fades, discipline stays. That's why hard work is so rare. It requires consistency when enthusiasm disappears. It requires commitment when results are invisible. You don't get applause for showing up early or staying late. You don't get recognition for the hours nobody sees. But that's exactly why it works. Hard work builds in silence and reveals itself loudly. By the time people notice you, the work has already been done, and the ones who didn't pay the price will swear you got lucky. There is no shortcut past the work. Every attempt to bypass it leads to something fragile, success that collapses under pressure. Anything built without hard work cannot withstand adversity. It looks good until it's tested. Hard work builds foundations, not facades. It prepares you for resistance, criticism, failure, and doubt. When the storm comes, and it will, the people who avoided the work will fall apart. The ones who pay the price will stand firm. That's why hard work is non-negotiable. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your preparation. And preparation is work. Long work, boring work, repetitive work. The kind of work that doesn't feel heroic in the moment, but becomes legendary in hindsight. You don't earn extraordinary outcomes by living ordinary days. You earn them by stacking disciplined days on top of each other until the impossible becomes inevitable. Hard work also demands sacrifice, and this is where most people hesitate. Because paying the entry fee means giving something up. Comfort, distractions, approval, sometimes relationships, sometimes sleep, sometimes the version of yourself that wanted everything to be easy. Hard work forces you to choose between who you are now and who you could become. And that choice shows up daily. Do you stay disciplined or do you stay comfortable? Do you keep going or do you settle? The fee is high because the reward is rare. Average effort leads to average results. Exceptional lives require exceptional commitment. You cannot live like everyone else and expect a different outcome. Hard work means saying no to things that feel good now so you can say yes to something greater later. And the people who don't understand your discipline are often the same ones who will question your success. Understand this. Hard work doesn't guarantee fame, wealth, or recognition, but it guarantees growth. It guarantees self-respect. It guarantees that when you look back, you won't wonder what might have happened if you tried harder. Paying the price gives you ownership of your journey. No one can discredit effort that was earned. No one can take away progress that was built brick by brick. When you know you gave everything, failure loses its power over you. Regret disappears. Fear shrinks. You stop asking for validation because your work speaks for you. Hard work gives you leverage, not over others but over yourself. It builds trust in your own ability to endure, adapt, and overcome. And that trust is priceless. It's what allows you to keep moving forward when the results lag behind the effort. So, if you're standing at the door right now, dream in one hand, doubt in the other, know this: nobody is coming to lower the price. The fee will never be reduced, but you're capable of paying it. You always have been. The moment you commit to the work, everything changes, not overnight, not magically, but inevitably. Every rep counts, every hour matters, every disciplined choice compounds. Hard work is the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you started, it only cares that you keep going. And when you finally walk through that door, you'll realize something powerful. The cost was never too high. The only thing that would have been too expensive was walking away without paying it. Hard work doesn't just change your circumstances. It exposes your character. When everything is easy, anyone can look confident, disciplined, even powerful. Comfort hides weakness. Ease creates illusions. But the moment the work gets heavy, the moment progress slows, the moment excuses start whispering in your ear, that's when the mask comes off. Hard work is a mirror. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't lie to you. It shows you exactly who you are when no one is clapping, no one is encouraging you, and no one is watching. You learn very quickly whether you are driven by convenience or by conviction. Because when effort is required day after day, only truth remains. And that truth can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You cannot grow into someone stronger without first meeting the person you really are. Pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is the test. It reveals what motivation alone never could. When you're tired, stressed, overwhelmed, and still expected to show up, that's where identity is forged. Hard work puts you face to face with your limits, then dares you to push past them. You discover how much discipline you actually have, how much patience you actually possess, how serious you actually are about what you claim to want. Anyone can say they're committed when conditions are perfect, but commitment shows itself when conditions are hostile, when the grind feels endless, when results lag behind effort, when doubt grows louder than belief. Hard work forces you to answer the question most people avoid. Will you keep going even when this no longer feels rewarding? There is a version of you that only exists under strain. You never meet that version in comfort. You meet them when you're exhausted, but still focused. When you're discouraged, but still disciplined. When quitting would be logical, but you don't. Hard work introduces you to your resilience. It shows you that you are capable of far more than you assumed. Not because you suddenly became fearless, but because you learned how to move forward with fear. That's the transformation. Hard work doesn't remove obstacles, it teaches you how to carry weight. And once you realize you can carry more than you thought, your entire self-image changes. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start saying, "I'll figure it out." That shift alone can change the direction of a life. Hard work also reveals your relationship with discomfort. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack tolerance for discomfort. They interpret resistance as a sign to stop instead of a signal to grow. But when you commit to hard work, discomfort becomes familiar, not enjoyable, but manageable. You stop panicking when things get hard. You stop dramatizing setbacks. You stop personalizing struggle. Instead of saying, something is wrong with me, you say, this is part of the process. That mindset is forged through repetition, not inspiration. You don't wake up one day strong. You earn strength by surviving what once overwhelmed you, and every time you endure discomfort without quitting, your confidence deepens. Quietly, permanently, hard work also exposes the lies you've been telling yourself, the excuses, the stories, the reasons you thought were valid. When you're forced to show up consistently, those stories don't hold up. I don't have time. I'm not ready. I work better under pressure. Hard work dismantles all of that. It reveals patterns. It shows you where you avoid responsibility and where you sabotage progress. And while that can be painful, it's also empowering. Because once you see the truth, you can change it. You stop blaming circumstances and start owning choices. That's maturity. That's growth. That's the moment you stop being a victim of your habits and start becoming the architect of your life. Eventually, something powerful happens. The work that once intimidated you becomes familiar. The pressure that once shook you becomes fuel. You begin to trust yourself, not because you hope things will work out, but because you know you can handle whatever comes next. That trust is earned, it cannot be given, and it only comes from doing hard things repeatedly. This is why the person you become through hard work matters more than any external reward. Titles fade, money fluctuates, applause dies down, but character stays, discipline stays, self-respect stays. When you've been tested and didn't break, you carry that strength into every area of your life. Hard work reveals the truth, and the truth sets you free. It strips away illusion, exposes weakness, and then gives you the chance to rebuild yourself stronger than before. When you stop running from the work, you finally meet the person you were always capable of becoming. Everyone has something to say. Everyone has an opinion, a plan, a vision, a story they tell themselves and others about who they're going to become. Talk is cheap because it costs nothing. You can speak ambition without sacrifice. You can announce goals without discipline. You can promise change without ever changing. That's why the world is loud with intention, but quiet with execution. Hard work draws a hard line between words and action. It doesn't care what you said you were going to do. It only counts what you actually did. The moment effort is required, the crowd thins. The moment consistency is demanded, the pretenders disappear. And what remains are the doers, the ones who understand that results are built, not declared. Talkers chase the feeling of progress. Doers commit to the reality of it. Talking feels productive, planning feels safe, announcing feels validating, but none of it moves the needle without work behind it. Hard work is uncomfortable precisely because it doesn't reward you immediately. There's no instant gratification, no quick feedback loop. You work for days, weeks, sometimes years, without proof that it's paying off. That's where most people quit, not because they're incapable, but because they mistake silence for failure. Doers understand something talkers never learn. Progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. They don't need constant reassurance. They don't need likes, praise, or permission. They trust the process because they're committed to the practice. While others are explaining what they're going to do, doers are already doing it. Hard work also eliminates the need for comparison. Talkers are obsessed with what others are doing, saying, earning, achieving. They measure themselves by attention and approval. Doers are too busy working to keep score. Their focus is narrow and intentional. They know exactly what needs to be done today, and they do it. No announcements, no justifications, no drama. Hard work teaches you that momentum is built in private long before it's visible in public. By the time people notice the result, the discipline is already ingrained. That's why real success often looks sudden to outsiders. It wasn't sudden at all. It was silent. And silence is uncomfortable for people who crave validation. But silence is where mastery is built. Consistency is the dividing line. Anyone can work hard for a D. Anyone can push when they're inspired. Doers separate themselves by showing up when inspiration is gone, when the work feels repetitive, when the excitement has faded, when the results are still far away. Talkers wait to feel ready. Doers act despite resistance. They don't negotiate with their moods. They don't rely on motivation. They build systems, they build habits, they build discipline. Hard work becomes a standard, not an event. And once work becomes a standard, progress becomes inevitable. Not fast, not flashy, but inevitable. That inevitability is what talkers fear most, because it requires patience, humility, and surrendering the need to be seen. Hard work also reveals accountability. Talkers externalize failure. They blame timing, circumstances, people, systems. Doers internalize responsibility. They ask, what can I do better? Where can I improve? What's my next move? Hard work doesn't allow you to hide behind excuses because the results reflect the effort. That level of honesty is uncomfortable, but it's transformative. When you stop defending your intentions and start improving your execution, everything changes. You gain control, you gain clarity, you gain momentum. The work becomes feedback, every failure becomes instruction, every setback becomes data. That mindset turns obstacles into stepping stones and eliminates the need to talk yourself into believing. You can see it in the results. Over time, the gap widens. Talkers stay stuck in cycles of excitement and disappointment. Doers keep stacking days, quietly moving forward. And eventually, the work speaks. It speaks in confidence. It speaks in competence. It speaks in undeniable outcomes. At that point, explanations are unnecessary. Proof replaces promises. The noise fades. What remains is substance. That's the power of hard work. It removes the need to convince anyone of anything. You don't have to announce who you are becoming when your actions already show it. In the end, hard work makes one thing brutally clear. Words don't build lives, actions do. You can talk your way into comfort, or you can work your way into transformation. The world doesn't remember what you said you'd do. It remembers what you actually did. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. Most people think it comes from praise, from winning, from being told you're good enough. But that kind of confidence is fragile. It rises and falls with opinions. It disappears the moment things don't go your way. Real confidence is built differently. It is forged through effort, through repetition, through showing up when no one is watching. Hard work builds a confidence that cannot be shaken because it is rooted in proof. Not hype, not validation. Proof that you did the work, endured the process, and earned the right to believe in yourself. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you make a deposit into your confidence. It's a quiet transaction, invisible to everyone else, but powerful beyond measure. Waking up early when you don't feel like it. Finishing what you start even when it's boring. Pushing through fatigue without complaining. These moments don't look impressive on the outside, but they stack internally. Over time, they create an unspoken trust in yourself. You begin to know, not hope, not wish, not assume, that you can rely on you, That trust is rare, and once you have it, no criticism can take it away. Because confidence built through hard work doesn't ask, do they believe in me? It says, I believe in me because I've earned it. Hard work also removes the need for comparison. When your confidence is externally sourced, you constantly measure yourself against others. Their success threatens you. Their progress discourages you. Their approval controls you. But when your confidence comes from effort, comparison loses its grip. You're no longer racing anyone else. You're building yourself. You know what you've put in. You know what you've survived. You know how many times you didn't quit. That knowledge grounds you. It keeps you